All right, we're live on YouTube, I think. Let's see how that goes. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, are we... I hope I'm logged into the right account. Looks like I'm supposed to be live. Yeah, I'm live. Okay. Fine. What's up, guys? We're going to just try and do a couple hours here. We've got YouTube's and Twitch and no Facebook today. I don't know why, but I can't seem to get us. Yeah, somehow I've got to like paste in and whatever, paste things in again. So here we go. Let's draw. Twitch, give me a shout in the chat. I think there's no chat enabled on YouTube for now, but let's go. I want to see how we do. All right, so let's get our mixer brush. All right, you'll see we have a pretty dark red bold ground here. We want to keep this ground quite... it's dark because, well, most of this image is dark. So we're going to do a couple of things to hit highlights here. But first thing that I always do is grab just a sort of basic shadow color. So here's our darkest dark. One of the darkest darks. Let's get in here into our charcoal outline. And we'll just start hitting. Okay. Zoom out. That really we've learned from watching these time lapses that the sooner you just knock this stuff in, the better. It's all going to be fine. We're just blasting in the colors. Okay. Darkest dark under the nostril, under the nose. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And we're going to keep going here. Let's get our Van Dyke Z placed and set. At some point, I might actually give a shout out to my crew on Instagram and say, hey, we're live painting on YouTube, because that's something that we haven't done before. Or at least whenever I tell my buddies on my social about that, they don't know about it, okay? Because they don't have Twitch. So there we go. All right, I can see already who's the celebrity that this is gonna look like. It's gonna be Rodney Dangerfield. Okay. Here, pop this in here. Ooh, nice color for the pink there. That's quite a... Let's get a blast of the highlight in here. Let's get the dark of the hairline going. We're going to just, like I said, we're going to hit this stuff hard, hit it fast. We know that there's plenty more to do in the later stages, so the sooner you get this stuff just blocked in, then you can start tweaking it. So squinting, looking all the way down. Yes, try and stay within our guides. Okay. Yes, there's a lot of noise going on my thing here, so just bear with me. I'm going to grab a look at the screen in here. I'm glad I looked there. Glad I looked in there. Here's why. We're not on our time lapse right now. Bummer. I don't know why that is. But let's find out. Very weird. Okay, is there just too much like overload on my squinting here? Did that change anything? Oh boy. Plagued with technical difficulties again. Oh boy. Okie doke. What are we doing? What's going on here? Where's our time lapse and why isn't it working? Are we not connected? Maybe, let's find out what Photoshop version this is. Oh no. Okay. Okay. All right, team, let's do this on the fly. So here we go. Not a good way to start our YouTube stream, but regardless, let's dump our painting here. Dump our paint layer. We'll do V2, and then we're going to hit it, quit, save this one. Bear with me a sec while I just try to fix some things here. So what's happening is there's a version of we want a previous version of Photoshop. Okay. So I think, what does that mean? Let's see if there's an update available. So basically what happened with Photoshop was it's no longer doing we're no longer able to do time lapses. Sorry, folks. I keep saying that, but let me just try and dig in here and see what I can do to fix it. Photoshop 0.9.1. Josh Mankiewicz. View. Full screen mode with menu bar. Standard screen. Arrange. New window for Josh Mankiewicz. All right. You're gonna lose my mic here for a sec. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go see if those marks showed up on the other screen. Yeah. All right. Guys, folks, we were cursed. I don't know why, but here we were. We were cursed. So we got chat going on for Twitch. And then we have, hopefully, YouTube Live. Let's see how we're doing here. All right, we got chat. Okay, let's do our best here. We're streaming. We're streaming. Okay, we've got 2 platforms. Maybe tomorrow we'll do 3. Okay, big deal. Now, let's start back where we were. We get a nice Van Dyke Z here. Okay. Let's get some darks along the nose. Okay, nice distance where we can see both. Okay, something like this. Want to make sure we're on the right layer. Yes, we are. Not the right layer. That's our charcoal layer. And then we're going to put in another layer. And we're going to lock this one up. And then we're going to get our... Oh, the layer is locked. Well, fine. Is everything locked under there? Because I don't want any trouble. Gosh. All right, layer. We get our... That was the issue. One issue. Solved. Okay. Let's make sure we know what brush we're using. Okay. The whole idea before of just blasting in there got a little sidestepped by some of that. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to try to be a little more lyrical with our brushwork this time. We're not going to do as many scribble-scrabbles as we did before. We're going to do nice brushwork. Let's try it, okay? Let's try some nice brushwork. Just a little flick of the eye there for the Van Dyke Z. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Van Dyke Z, Van Dyke Z is something that my painting teacher pointed out to us, is that in almost every portrait by Anthony Van Dyke, you could very clearly see this Z shape that would run from the. In fact, I'm delineating it right now. Here's our. Let's get our darks here. Okay, we're delineating that Van Dyke Z, and that once I get it done, I'll point it out. Okay. All right. In most, if not all, portraits, there is this nice Z shape that we can see here. And I'm going beyond it. But here, it's like this. See that Z? That's what you want to grab onto first. That's arguably the most important piece of the likeness, because when you're painting from a live model and that model is moving around, the thought is that the length of the nose, depending on if your head's tipped back, if the portrait sitter's head's tipped back and all that, the length of the nose should stay about the same, right? Now, eyebrow down to tip of nose, all that stuff's important to know where it is. So yeah, that's the Van Dyke Z. Okay, we're just going to come in here and sort of get the mask of the face, start to delineate that. Let's get our highlight like we did last time, before all tech heck broke loose. And then before anything goes too crazy, I'm gonna go into the other room and make sure that we're not lost again. And if we are, I don't know what we're gonna do. But we'll face it together. Okay. There's a brush stroke. Now, what I'm loving about this is the side smile. Great side smile here. I never really hit the lip well. The mouth is the hardest part of the portrait to me. And so let's see why, and see if we can learn something for this one. Okay, there we go. We get a little sort of dead coloring here. Sheesh. That was, I have to say, even though there's nobody watching, it's nerve-wracking because, like, there might be somebody watching. I'm going to take a look, see how our... All right. So, we're still filming. That's great. Let me, I'm just going to do one thing over here real quick. Let's share our YouTube live. Share, copy link, and then we'll just say over at Instagram art. Okay. Hold on. Whoa. Okay, let's try this. Instagram. Put this up. Okay, we're gonna do Dateline. No. Let's put a link. Link. We're live. Painting. Josh. Mank. Okay. Okie doke. All right. My Twitch pals, thanks for bearing with me. YouTube folks who've never seen me, I'm, who knows. We're going to figure it out, okay? Back of the head. Get a nice line going here. Just sort of drag that one up. Easy peasy. Get another back of the head line. Always making sure we're on the right layer. Now, what's cool about these photos? Oh, hang on. We got the U.S. Postal Service. All right. Thanks for bearing with. Let's paint. Okay. Now we've got our darkest darks behind the head. We're going to think about this more in terms of how I might approach an oil painting. Cool. Bear with me. Okay. Let's just forge ahead here. How are we doing? I think give me a shout in the chat if you want to. If you don't, no pressure, but I've got a stream going to Twitch and now the new YouTube family. We're kicking this off in style. We're painting Josh Mank, the legend. We are always eager to talk about painting, digital, oil, whatever. All right. It's going to be a while, right? I mean, we got a long ways to go here. But we can do this. Get an indication there for the collar. We're going to keep, I like this sort of like the purple hues here. That's why I picked this kind of red ground. Just to sort of exaggerate that. Now back to what we were saying before about the Van Dyke Z. Yeah, we're knocking things in. Okay, just indicate. Now, usually if I'm painting in the studio, I'm going to have a lot of turpentine flowing in these early layers. I don't know how to do that with oil, with digital. But if anybody's watching and knows how to do that stuff, please, by all means, hit me up. What do you recommend? Okay. Ooh, nice. The white of the eye is almost perfect there in terms of the ground. Joshy. Look at that side smile. I mean, I can't quite say enough. How many times do I have to say it? He's anyway, I'm a big fan. A funny guy. Okay. Let's paint the brows here. Boy, I mean, I'm still traumatized by that technical foul up we had earlier. I don't know if you were on watching that, but wow. It was epic. It was an epic technical meltdown. We should be good now, I hope. And if we're not, we'll do what we did last time, which, as you may have seen, was to simply start over the next day. But we're not going to be I'm not painting over the weekend. So let's get some of these darks under the lip. I hit that a little too hard under the lip here. Let's get a nice solid tone for the smile mark. Okay. Classic upper lip here. Look at that. I don't know. I'm not versed enough in art history to be able to tell you where I've seen this face before, but I do know that there are a number of great Van Dyke starts. They kind of have this sort of vibe in the, well, where have I seen them? I've seen them at the British something or other. Give me a shout if you know what I'm talking about, or if you don't and want to learn more. Okay. Where are we at? Just gonna grab another window here. So, here we go. Let's do something like this. All right, so we can see both at the same time. This is kind of a nice viewpoint, vantage point. How are we doing? Just hit a couple of those. Let's grab our shadow under the chin. Let's put in some of these halftones under the mouth. Okay. Let's get this nice, rich shadow value to the left of the jawline, chin, whatever. Just, and we're just relaxing, right? We're trying to relax anyway. And that's important, you know? We want to have a nice sort of, I don't know if the right word is, if we're relaxed, we get a little bit more, we can be more loose with our brushwork here. So let's zoom in here. Goody. Now look, nice little highlight here that can live right alongside that area. How about the nice jaw chin line here? Awesome. how about this smudge of shadow line as it is right there? Let's contain the top of the head. We might as well. Honestly, it's weird. I didn't think I was going to be enjoying this one quite this much. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm just like, this one's going to be good. It's going to be a fun one. Okay, top of the head. Let's get some nice we're not going to be so precious with this one with getting photorealism. I hope. I certainly hope. I say that every time I go to paint, whether I'm painting, drawing, I always say to myself, we're going to loosen up this time. It doesn't have to look like the photo. Okay? But guess what happens every time? I say, no. Let's make it look like the photo. And it's not a conscious choice, to be honest. It's a little bit more like fear. Like, well, what will it look like if it doesn't look like the photo? But anyway, you tell me, how do you remain creative when you paint? If you paint. Or if you do any other thing, how do you remain creative and don't sort of become a servant of the sheet music or the way your teacher taught you or any things like that? That's a big thing that I have a problem with, is staying true to what I like to see versus what I think I should be seeing. Okay, hold on, I'll be back. Sometimes you get a face like this, though, and you're just like, wow, this is cool. And I don't know, I get into certain subject matter. So let's keep rocking. I think let's find this highlight here. Anybody got Labor Day plans? I am going to be around, but I'm going to the ocean. But I'm going to be not too far. Okay, let's get in here because I haven't quite resolved where this is versus this. All right, ear. Let's hit the ear. Good. All right, so we're just popping things in here where they belong. Glorified paint by numbers, right? All right, so mixing things up. Let's So we're standing back, sort of metaphorically speaking, and we're going to look to find okay, there's a nice highlight on the head. Let's find out where that thing lives. How about this? Okay. A nice dark that lives up there. How about a nice highlight that just lives along the edge here? All right, nice shadow living up along the top. Okay. Sometimes it's kind of fun to treat these things a bit more like drawings than paintings. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to contradict what I always say, that painting is drawing. Painting is drawing, yes. You can't paint if you don't know how to draw. But when you're using charcoal or pencil, you can do different things than you can do with oil. And sometimes it's fun to just sort of be more calligraphic with brush strokes, I guess I would say. And by that I mean you can kind of see the movement of the brush. Rather than just what I often do is sort of mass things in. I do that with drawing and painting, actually. I think what I want to open myself up to by doing these exercises with oil paint, with digital paint, I want to learn how to be more calligraphic, if that's a word. In other words, how can I be more lyrical with my brushwork in general? Whether that just means finding the right brush size and layering in exactly where you want that brush mark to go. So we'll see. I keep saying one day we'll get into the studio, and we will. We will definitely get in there. Okay. Let's find this nice area. Did anybody let's see, yesterday my Twitch fam was watching when we were doing Andrea. And we had an incident where my brushes started acting weird. Okay, so I had to bail. And I'm sort of glad I did, because I asked my lovely wife if she thought I should go ahead and keep going with the Dateline crew. And she said, definitely, you got to just do them all. I was like, but I put up the time lapse of Andrea and didn't perform so well up on the boards. You know how that Instagram addiction goes, where you're like, oh, they don't like it. Nobody liked it. But she encouraged me in a way to just say, no, you know what? Doesn't matter. Because somebody's going to want to see all these guys. All right? So even if it's just me, it's a series. It is a series. So they all go together. Now, let's see. Whoops. Bye, Josh. Hi, Josh. In the beginning here, we're just indicating where things live. There's a nice highlight along the edge of the ear. Lives there, roughly. Nice highlight right here at the tip of the earlobe. Nice shadow shape here. We were talking a little bit about this a couple of times, actually. The fact that traditionally in classical, oil portraits, I should say, or classical portrait painting, traditionally there's this sort of I guess you would say, through our modern lens, it is kind of maybe it's a sexist approach, which is that when you have a portrait of a male subject, the shadows often tend to be very deep, and it's like, very, the dark and the light together. So Whereas with oil portraits of women through art history, you see, sometimes you'll see that, the chiaroscuro, but if it's like, but too often I think we see a kind of other kind of lighting that they do. So they'll light the work, they'll light the subject more with light on both sides. And so just look out for that when you're looking at portraits. Take a look and see if you notice that. Certainly at a museum, you'll see art history. Throughout art history, you'll see that. Men have these shadows, and women tend to have light pouring. Even if there's shadow, they somehow elevate that and bring the lights more, like with the and that echoes into, like, whoever did these portraits, these photographs, whoever did these photos of the team here knew without a doubt that, didn't know, but they're trained in portraiture. I mean, they know that that's kind of one thing you do is, like, whatever, if you're photographing a woman, let's light the whole head. So anyway, it's rather than have half of it in shadow. So but take a look at Andrea and see if you agree with that. Okay. Now, let's try and blur this edge. Already we're blurring, as you know. We're blurring till the blurring can't blur. Blur, blur, blur. Okay. It's a nice highlight. Just along the edge. We don't need to go too crazy with that. Our dark definitely lives along here. And let's get some of this edge blurring. Emma Carter. What's happening? Thanks for the follow. What's going on? What brings you here today? The glorious vision of Josh Mankiewicz? Or just hanging out? Just hanging around. Sorry, for my YouTube fam, I got a chat from someone named Emma Carter 944, and so I'm talking to them. If you want to fire up a chat here in YouTube, do so, and I will Be happy to chat with you. Emma, what's going on? Are you with us? Who's there? Let's get this highlight here. I really want to get some of these darks flowing. Right? A little calligraphy here. Look at this. You can start to see that live. A little highlight in the hair. Joshy, he's coming out, right? He's starting to see him. Okay. So yeah, give me a what's up. I know I keep saying that, but you have a rare, if you're watching on YouTube, you have a super rare opportunity to be the first ever person to send me a chat. I think that's kind of cool. Okay. Let's take our... Wait a minute. What? Oh, Emma, I thought I was looking at my Twitch thing, and I thought you had just knocked on my... Anyway, I was looking at Twitch. I was looking at Twitch, and I was just reading your message from before. So, whatever. Don't chat, whatever you want. But if you want to log out and head over to YouTube and give me a shout over there, you'll be the first ever person to chat me on YouTube. And I think I'm going to be doing YouTube for a while now. Okay. Let's find out what's going on with all this stuff. Okay. Shadow edge. Okay, continue with our shadow under the chin. You know? you gotta find out where all this stuff lives. Gets confusing a little bit down here because there's so much reflected light. But if we can just try to squint and see it more from the perspective of shapes or big masses, then we can get those accents later. All right. Let's keep going. Right now, one thing that's kind of interesting is the top of the head is reading like, here, you see this? This is all reading as though it's well, we got to find out what's what up here. Okay, is this what you really want to do is get some more darks up here. Good news is we're losing all this stuff anyway, so I don't have to be too nutty about what all that is. Okay. All right. Let's give that a nice chance to be kind of a golden tone. It looks like maybe Josh has been down in the Caribbean. Whoops. And okay. How about finding out more about these let's see. Sort of treat that more like a pencil line than a brush stroke for now. We don't know where it lives. You know, we're getting in here. We're going to figure it out. Nice opportunity here to just get rid of some of the confusion that is inevitably surrounds the eyes. So by getting rid of the confusion, I mean finding our highlight color and just plopping it in there, and then blurring as it travels in and across. Okay, so just uh-oh, Emma Carter. Typically when somebody says that's my Discord, they're looking to sell something or spam people. I'm not an expert, and I don't want to judge a book by its cover. But I've been around the block at least long enough to know that you don't just want to chat on Discord. Right? Be honest. You see, now you upset me. I thought you were a real follower, pal. You hurt my feelings. How do I live without you? Is that the song? How can I live? That's how I feel right now. Like, I thought we had something going. You know, like I thought this was legit. It must have been love, but it's over now. It must have been good, but I lost it somehow. It must have been. That's a tough song, actually. The melody. I'll work on it. It must have been love, but it's over now. It must have been good, but I lost it somehow. It must have been love. But what do? We get up, we pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, and we carry on. But it's over now, and it must have been good, but I lost it somehow. Paint a picture, or no, leave a woman on my door. Oh, touch me now. So we're shaping the nose. The nose. Remember, what color is the nose? Anybody hear that story? Funny. Classic art student stories. All right, I'm liking how things are going so far. What I'm not liking is that we don't have this mark here. Let's find out. Okay, where is it? Something like that. Paint a picture. Nice. It must have been love, but it's over now. It was all that you were all that I wanted. Right? Ever feel that way when a first time chatter turns out to be a bot? But I lost it somehow. Paint a picture. Joshy. All right. Let's knock in with a big bristle brush or pretend bristle brush. A nice dark shoulder line. Because sometimes you need a shoulder to lean on. Okay? I watched for the first time a film by the storied horror giallo director Dario Argento. I've been on a horror kick. My wife and I like to watch movies together, and we don't always agree on what we should watch. And last night was an example where I kind of put up a fight. I'll admit it. I said, I don't like these like 70s movies and I stuck with it. And I'll say this. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And I don't know if that's a good thing in that case, but I'd be open if you guys think that if you like Dario Argento's films and want to discuss it, let's do it. We watched Inferno. And I spent a long time kind of Googling what people think of Dario Argento and why he's such a legend in the realm of horror. Okay. Oh, sneaky Josh. Look at that. Look at that face. I'm not going to say much about Argento because I think we need to give him another chance. I've heard that people think Dario Argento is... Well, immediately what you notice when you watch his movies is the crazy lighting. I call it crazy. I mean, I don't know, but it's like, let's have blue reflecting here, and then the background will have red in it, and then like there's no explanation for why there's blue or red in any of these shots, or at least it makes it extra sort of spooky, I guess. So Quite. So the lighting's awesome, you know, and people talk about how he's like obviously good at sort of framing a shot. But a complaint that I see on the Reddits quite often is that the plots are sort of disjointed and boring. What do you think? I've only seen the one movie, so I don't really know examples, but Josh Mankiewicz. Emma Carter 944. That my Discord. I guess we should have the chat plugin pop up here. You know, why not? That my Discord. Well, if I get a minute, I'll check it out. But I'm very busy. Let's get back to Twitch. All right. So now it is time. Actually, that was a ridiculous way to say that. Isn't it like, is that from Lion King or King Lion, as my former toddler used to say? Or my son, who was a toddler when he said that. King Lion. It is time. Is that like when Mowgli, whatever his name is like, yeah, I gotta grow up, kind of thing? All right, there's something here. Do you see it? I see it, and it is this sort of angry looking lip here. Pretty awesome. This is a mean Josh Mankiewicz. He's mean. but at the same time, dude, Vendal, thank you, buddy. Thank you for the chat. Wow, we were just visited by Emma Carter, who turned out not to be an authentic chatter, but I'm thrilled to have you saying hi. And what's going on? What brings you here? By the way, I'm streaming on YouTube, and I've never done that before today. And the reason I mention it is because I want to let the YouTube viewers know that we have kind of a Twitch streaming family over here. You know, I've been streaming on Twitch for a couple months now. So yeah, we've got Vendal. Vendal is here chatting with us on Twitch. Please, if you're on YouTube and want to chat, try it. I've been telling people, I've been just saying to the stream, if you chat me on YouTube now, you'll be the first ever YouTube chatter, which I think is kind of cool. That's just me. All right, let's blur this edge. If I had been, so having looked at some of these photos of these jokers, I've come to realize that they are on a white background, I think, in studio, and then they have somebody shooting. What the heck? Then they have somebody shooting the background. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but I would have preferred to have the shots without the brick background, and I just didn't want to go through and deal with all that. Okay. I didn't want to erase all that stuff. Okay, so here we are. Let's put on a little something going on here in the ear. Gosh. So if you're new to the stream, what we do here is we paint, draw, I don't know what you call this. We paint. We're painting. And part of what we're doing is, I don't know, painting, I guess. We're using traditional tools. Traditional skills, okay? Like, I've got some skills as an oil painter, as a traditional oil painter. And by some skills, I mean literally some skills. I'm not an expert by any means. You can see what I do with oil paint in my YouTube, in my Instagram link, and you can tell me if you think what you think of my oil painting work. But what there's a long-winded way of saying what I think I'm trying to do here is I have skills as an oil portrait painter and a pretty conservative oil portrait painter as oil portrait painters go. But I hungered for more. I wanted to reach a younger audience, maybe a more like open-minded audience than audiences that have seen my work in the past. I guess more of a I think you get the idea. I want to share what I'm doing with other kinds of people than the ones who I've typically shared my work with. And that means there's a fly buzzing around here, man. Sorry if I just blew into the mic. That means getting out into the streaming universe and doing, I don't know, fun paintings, fun subjects. So okay. And just take our time. We're having fun here, right? Yes. Sort of. We don't know where things are until we place them. All right, Joshy. Where are we at? Let's keep going. All right, let's get some lesser highlights going. Lesser highlights. Love the nose here. I think when I saw this pose, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do this. Nobody liked the Andrea Canning one, and I was kind of complaining to myself. But now that I'm in it, I'm just like, whoa, Josh. I didn't know you were such a... He's got those devilish good looks. And, he's no beauty like Andrea, but he's got certainly got some interesting stuff happening. Okay, so let's pop in our upper lip highlight. Nice cools. Okay. By the way, Vendal, if you're still out there, I wanted to say that I'm going to attempt to paint on a regular basis. So, yeah. Give me a follow, and then you can see what my schedule is going to be. Now look at this. Hey. Yeah, I am. What's up, buddy?
Skateboard, and you know how to do it.
Oh, that's a pretty good way to do it, too. That's awesome, buddy. Nice. Good skating, pal. It's probably time for me to take a break, but I'm gonna stick with it for a little while.
I almost flipped.
Hey Fletch, I'm actually streaming, so if you can keep your squeals a little lower, so people don't hear the squealing. Fletch, please be careful in my stream here.
No.
You doing good? Do you see Desmond?
Yeah.
I'm drawing this guy.
It looks disgusting.
Yeah. It's sideways because I'm recording the screen, so please don't press any buttons or anything. Just a quick break. Family matters. Family matters. Whoop. Okay. Nose wing. So anyway, I think a little bit of what I was saying before is important, that I want to try and learn to use what I've done. I want to try to learn how to use these tools, the tools such as streaming and digital paint. So here we go. All right. Ooch. That could have been better. So yeah. Anyone out there watching have any experience with painting, either traditional materials or otherwise? Give me a holler in the comments or in the chat. And yeah, be interested to know. We talk sometimes too much about painting on this stream. In fact, sometimes I'm like not very good at balancing stream life balances. Okay, I'm going to take this nice value. Here. My son just saw this painting and said, he looks disgusting. And, okay, I mean, fair enough. Can't please everybody. Where are we here? Yeah, okay. There we go. There's a nice highlight. Gosh, I have to tell you, Vendel, just that one comment, it changed everything for me. My day was like I was having difficulties with the. I was having some trouble with getting set up, and just having that heads up that somebody thought it was cool, whether it was just that was awesome. Because I kind of think it looks cool. And that's sort of what it's all about. If you like it, if the artist likes it, that's really what's important. Because I think that comes across. This is the eye, so I'm going to get in here a little more. So yeah, I think probably, again, as I said earlier, the photographer knew what they were doing as far as classical kind of turn your head 3/4 and keep your mouth closed, and if you want to smile with your, don't smile with your teeth. And part of that is because Dateline is that kind of show that it doesn't make sense to have the Dateline hosts, grinning ear to ear, for obvious reasons. But I think we've lost a little bit in television and media the ability to see an image of somebody with their mouth closed and think, I think the immediate reaction is, well, that person's unhappy because they're not showing their teeth. But I mean, I beg to differ. It's sort of the opposite. If you're happy, are you gonna bare your teeth at everybody? I don't know, but whatever. I digress. Okay. Top of head. Back of head. Okay. So what's going on here is we're going to get our darks. And break out a nice I like this olive kind of look. All right. While I'm at it here, I'm gonna share a little something over at my YouTubes. Or at my something or other. Okay, yeah, we'll do a post here. All right. All right. Wait, what was that? All right. 3, 2, 1. What's up? This is the first time I've done this, and I'm just saying hi because I'm over at YouTube. There should be a link in my bio. I'm having a lot of fun painting Josh from Dateline over there. Would love to see you, and there's an opportunity to be the first ever chat on my YouTube live. So hope to see you there. Now, can I figure out how to close this down? You know what I did? Hang on. All right. Okay, so. All right. Okay, so I'm trying to learn how to do all this stuff with the Instagram. I'm streaming live over at YouTube where I'm painting Josh from Dateline. This is portrait 3 in the series. We're having a lot of fun over there, and I'd love it if anybody wanted to stop by, say hi. If you say hi in the chat on YouTube, you'll be the first to say anything to chat me on YouTube. Come on over. We're having fun. All right, take care. I'm streaming live over at YouTube where I'm painting Josh from Dateline. From live. I'm streaming live over at YouTube where I'm painting Josh from Dateline. This is portrait 3 in the series. We're having a lot of fun over there, and I'd love it if anybody wanted to stop by, say hi. If you say hi in the chat on YouTube, you'll be the first to say anything to chat me on YouTube. Come on over. We're having fun. All right, take care. I'm streaming live over at YouTube where I'm painting Josh from Dateline. All right, cool. Little promo. So let's see. Now I got to put my put my money where my mouth is and be ready to accept chat. Okay, so let's see how that's gonna go. Where's my YouTubes? Where's my YouTubes? All right, we're live at YouTube. Okay. Where's my YouTubes? There it is. Okay. All right, we're live at YouTube. We're live. Okay. All right. So here we are. We took a little long break there, and now we're back. Okay, we're back. So, if you're joining from YouTube, like I say, we've never ever had a chat on YouTube. We've been streaming at Twitch quite a bit, but I noticed some of my Instagram peeps weren't really on the Twitch thing. So, by all means, stop over to Twitch and watch us on there. But if you're coming from YouTube, say hi in the chat, and you will literally be the first ever person to YouTube chat. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of fun. We've been doing some fun, a series of Dateline portraits. I noticed they had these beautiful photographs, and I thought, let's paint those. Okay, so here we are. I'm also kind of getting to learn the ropes of streaming and digital painting, and that's a process. So I feel kind of just now where I'm like sort of starting to find my voice with the digital stuff a bit more, and would love to hear from you. Okay, not going to go too nutty with the sometimes what happens is I lose patience and I start saying, oh, maybe somebody's watching, and I sort of speed things up too much. But all right, here we are. We're not going to speed things up too much. Nice color here on the collar, I think. Cool. All right, now, anybody out there ever used a digital paintbrush or a Wacom tablet? I'm kind of new to it, and I don't know if it's possible to like turn the edge of the brush, and I would like to know that. So if anybody knows, please tell me. Not urgent. Okay, so YouTubesters. Anybody there? Chat me up. Alright, so if I squint, I can see obviously the highlights here along the cheek. Maybe let's try some of those. I think I called it earlier when I said we got Rodney Dangerfield. He's going to be haunting us throughout this. No, it's not Rodney. But it kind of looks like Rodney. I'm going to grab this dark value here and try to feed that in a bit better here. And then let's find what's along the edge here. What lies beside. Okay. All right, so where were we? We were talking about, well, let's just change the subject here. Ears and highlights. Okay, look. Find that highlight in the ear over on the right. And plug it in. And if you can see the highlight, the chances are good. You know, the whole point of putting the highlights in there is so that you can see where everything else lives. And that's why the canvas is gray like this. Because the highlights stand out when you do it like that, when you have the gray canvas. All right, let's find out. I love all this sort of stuff happening in the hairline. Let's find out exactly what's going on with that. Okay, there's a shadow. How about another one? Now, we're not going to go too crazy with this, but there's kind of a half tone that lives up here. I'm going to pull it down this way, and then we're going to all right. I don't know what's happening with the forehead right now, but I know there's highlights up there that I don't. If I flick my eye back and forth, I can see, yeah, they're probably in the right place-ish. But okay. What else is new? We'll grab some of these grays. got the salt and pepper. And we got a nice gray that lives up here. Now, how about this dark? Kind of floats up into this salt and pepper. So just flick your eye back and forth and see if you can spot some of the things that I'm working on there. Here, how's that looking? Look at this. So find this little halftone in the corner and then hit it. Hit it. Okay, hit it again. Hit it again. Okay. Where did I lose anything important there? Probably. Can we put it back? Yes, definitely. Okay. Now, highlight. Mission critical, because if you've watched me paint before, you know that I have big problems placing the corner of the mouth, even when I know exactly where it should be. Somehow I always mess it up. And that's okay. We can always fix it. How about here? Actually, let's get this sort of middle value and layer it across here. Okay, nice. And then find something like this. And just bring that in. Okay, something like that, not too far. Now we're connecting the dots. So this is, it's a little bit, I always talk about this, it's glorified paint by numbers, but it's also connect the dots, because what you're doing is you're putting the dots, the dots that I'm talking about are the highlights in this case. And the connections are how you, like, look, see this highlight here? Drag that down. There's a highlight here and a highlight here, and in the middle is a kind of gray value. Okay, let's make sure we get that right. Something like that. So, yeah. What's going on? Darks. Here, there's a nice dark that lives here. something like that. Now, I nailed that highlight way too bright. But I'm trying not to erase things. But, you know, we might erase some things. I'm not going to erase them, but I don't, I'm not very good at my digital stuff yet. That's part of why I'm here. Because I want to learn how to do it. Okay. Let's find a nice value, something like this, and pull it up into the chin. Okay, like that. Now, let's find a nice value like this and drop that down against the shadow line that we have. And then let's find our like, well, what we already had was pretty good. Let's get in there with our that's what I don't like about digital painting, is that I don't know yet how to make it so that if I paint into a dark area, it doesn't stay dark forever. I want it to begin to get light the more I paint. So one of these days we'll have somebody who knows what they're doing come give me a heads up and say, no, that's not how you do that. Okay, Josh, coming into focus. Let's find what's happening here. How about here? Squinting. So what's funny about this, if you've ever done this sort of thing before, but you start with good intentions, and then you start, if you don't take a break, you can go nuts. And you can do the wrong thing. So, and by wrong I mean choppy stuff and blurring edges that don't need to be blurred. Stuff like that. Okay? Where are we? Okay. Let's just paint. It's a sign that things aren't going well when I start. Staring at the social media stuff. Okay, nice. So here we go. Now see, we want something like this to live under there. And then something like this. A cool value, tone. Okay. Help that move along. Now, dare I dare. I'm going to get in here and grab another attempt just to double check here. Yeah, no, we're good. All right, what's farthest behind on the head here? I think we need to commit to what's happening here. Okay, so something like that. Something like that. Side of the head. Good. Okay. What about this little strip of light underneath the eye on the right? Where is it? Is it here? Let's say it's somewhere around there. For now, we'll place it there. Maybe that's too low. Okay, nice. Golden tones there. Whoop. I can tell I skipped lunch. I don't know if you can. Ooh, highlight. Look. Almost didn't see it. Okay. We don't need exact placements of all this stuff. We just need to put things generally in the right place. But basically, when I'm looking at my painting, so much of this is being able to flick your eye back and forth between the painting and the reference. In this case, the lovely Joshie M. And if you're able to you got to flick your eye back and forth and see the differences and say, okay, yeah, let's put that here. Okay. And let's find out how this works. Okay, sometimes it's quiet because you got to be in the zone. Okay, so we're just going to get into that area here where there's a highlight. Actually, no. Let's grab this. Grab that. And then we can blur it down with one of these. Okay, now, given our got a little quiet there. Oh, Zeldavania. What's going on, buddy? That's good stuff. I didn't know you were there. What's happening? I like the you're right. I need to put some more gray smears. Let's find out where they live. So what's going on? It's been a while. I have a YouTube streaming too, so I'm gonna just let them know that my pal Zeldavania is in the house. I'm offering a distinguished prize of first chatter over at YouTube. It's up for grabs. But yeah, I'm just sort of trying to figure out this whole streaming thing still. And I've been out of the office for a long time. What's new with you? Pop this highlight, mid-tone under the eye. It's filling in shades like that normal for portraits. How do you mean? Like, how I started with the gray background? So yeah, like, you mean, why would I start with a gray background? Is that kind of as opposed to starting with just like a white. I think this is what we're getting at, and stop me if this is not what you're asking, but basically, the concept of having a gray background is, yes, well, I wouldn't say it's normal. I think it's normal if you are sort of from a traditional classical tradition, I would say. This is a technique that is used and taught and widely known to be something that is like art historically something that's been done. So it's not normal, but if you know, you know. Okay, so yeah, like a lot of people just start with a white canvas, and I that's fine. But what the reason you start with a gray is because then, as you may be able to tell, you can pop in the highlight on the forehead and it'll show up. As opposed to if it were a white canvas and I popped in that highlight color, it would actually be darker than the white canvas. So you save yourself time and energy by making the canvas gray. And you can do that a number of ways. We used to hand grind our own pigments and make our own canvases, and I still do that sometimes, but it's been a while. Yeah, you can make the canvas gray by doing that a number of ways. You could take a white canvas and then put a red wash over it. But yeah, great question. It's like, what is going on here? Why are we doing that? It's probably you think of somebody just starting out with a white canvas, and that is completely legit. I guess I'd be amateur because I'd work in splotches, like low resolution, and hone in the details. Absolutely, what I'm kind of doing here is these are splotches, like I'm hitting it with splotches because I know these splotches live generally in this area, for instance. But that's the idea. I mean, you start with a dark. You start with a broad smudge, like a chunk of paint. Like all these, it's like this is a chunk of paint next to a chunk of paint next to a chunk of paint. And over time, yeah, I honestly wish we could have open mic here and so that we could hear one another, because sometimes I'll start rambling about something that may not be anything to do with what you're talking about. But here's a good example. Look, I found this, and also a lot of traditionalists would be like, you're cheating, you're not mixing that color. Well, I know how to mix the color, but I know how to mix that color, and then when I find it, when I look where it is, I look left and right, and I see it's about here. Given the way my drawing is already, that value lives somewhere over there. So something like that. Okay? So whatever. Now we have a light that lives there somewhere where it, vaguely close to where it should be. but it's not a super detail. I'm not getting in here the way I was on the previous ones. I'm sort of finding my voice a little bit, but on the previous ones, I was going in there and finding all the little moles and all this. But now I want to approach it more broadly, and that means finding where the big smudges go. And then once you have the big smudges, get into the finer details. I mean, this collar is one big smudge here, right? There's no detail on there. All right, let's find out why. Like, here's a good example of like a detail that I need to address now. Let's find the line along the edge. Oh, I'm smearing in with my collar. That's no good. This digital paint is as sensitive, if not more sometimes, than oil paint, but I'm learning it's pretty similar. I heard someone say you don't look at it like faces, but lots of shade areas. Correct. I couldn't say it. Yeah. I could say it a million different ways, and I could talk about that forever. That's what it's all about. You can talk about that till the cows come home. But yes, have you ever seen a toddler's drawing of a face? It has eyelashes, and it has multiple eyelashes. But when you look at an image, we don't see the eyelashes. You know they're there, and you know that the face is, the face, but you try to divorce what you think the face has on it from what from what you're seeing. So really it's all just about learning how to see in a way that your brain and what you think about what a face looks like disappears. And what's left are these kind of masses of tone. Not everybody paints that way, but this is what I studied and am kind of a hopeful ambassador for that sort of style of painting. I want to talk about this, and eventually I'd love to find people that want to learn how to do this and, set up some kind of class type thing. All right, we're gonna find our edge there. Let's do something a little fun and get our nice blue value on the tie here. Okay. We got to know. I mean, look at this. I noticed that the tie. What happened to the tie here? It's a little. Looks like maybe he needs a. I don't know. New dry cleaner. Pop in that. I'm having too much fun here I shouldn't be having this much fun this early in the portrait, but let's do the fun parts, okay? Just a hint of that. Tie color. Okay, this is going to be real fun. Let's get this nice purple shadow under here and find where it lives, as Bob Ross would say. Okay. Just a little highlight. Where does this little shadow live? All those lovely little Easter colors. Bring that over. Blur that across. Okay. Why this portrait? You mean why am I painting Josh Mankiewicz? A number of reasons. One is that I started with a series of the Dateline team. I always wanted to paint Keith, who's the head vampire over there, Keith Morrison. And then I felt I wanted to... So yeah, long story short, is like, I'm kind of a Dateline fan. I wanted to paint Keith, and I found this amazing photo of Keith with beautiful Caravaggesque light. You know, this like shadows on the left, light coming from the top. And I couldn't resist eventually painting Keith. And that one went well. And then I was like, let's see who else. You know, like they must have, you know, gotten all the whole crew out, you know, like all the Dateline hosts must have been present for that photo shoot. Turns out they were. So I scooped up some of these high-res photos and started saying, well, I'll do Andrea next, because she's sort of like the second most famous, or whatever, most notable. And then this morning, actually, I was like, nobody really liked the Andrea time lapse. And I was saying to my wife, like, you know, should I do Josh next? Or should I do Dennis Murphy? Or should I just bail on the whole Dateline concept? Like, is it done? She said, no, you got to do them all. And I said, all right, let's do them. And I found this photo from the shoot with the nice Caravaggio lighting. And as I started working, at first I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't think Josh Mankiewicz has the kind of appeal that Keith Morrison does in some ways. No offense, Josh. But, so long story short, I was like starting to paint, and I was like, dude, this guy's face is like even cooler than Keith's. So, I don't know. I don't know why. Dateline, you know, I'm a fan. What can I say? And most importantly, finding photographs of people that are not, sorry, what am I trying to say here? Finding a photo of somebody is hard to do. Certainly a photo that has this beautiful side lit, and most importantly perhaps, what about the fact, where else are you going to find photos of celebrities or, you know, known people where they're not grinning with their teeth showing. I mean, for God's sakes, why does everybody have to smile with their teeth? So anyway, we were talking about this a little earlier on the stream. Like, one of the things about Dateline is that for promotional stuff, it would be entirely inappropriate to have the Dateline host smiling, like it's like sort of, Pixel, some morning news, local news channel, that. So it just works for the kind of Caravaggio classical mouth closed thing. So yeah, some people don't mind drawing teeth, but I do. I don't think it looks right for a portrait, an oil portrait, to have teeth bared. I've done it before, but I try to encourage anybody who sits for a portrait or commissions a portrait to say, look, think about what that portrait's going to look like for 20 years on your wall, grinning at you. There's something more, there's something about the classical, slight smile. We don't need to have. So anyway, here, I'm going to show you a little bit about what we were talking about, where you were saying something about amateurs. Are teeth difficult to get the right surface look? Hard to answer that question succinctly. But one thing that makes teeth hard, I suppose, is textural. It's a little like hair, where hair, as you can see, has lots and lots of darks and lights peppering all over the place, right? Hang on. This is a little bit of a painful moment here. Better pay attention here. Oh, shoot. There I go. Yeah, this is fine detail stuff. With teeth, what you have to contend with is there are highlights on the teeth. Because they're shiny, and so they reflect light in a way that skin does not. Skin, look at the highlight on the tip of the nose. It's not like a shiny plink of light. This is, I don't know. I don't know if it's the texture of the surface that makes teeth hard to paint. I don't know if they're hard to paint as much as they just are. Like, look at the way. I don't know. Maybe I'm a snob, but I think that the way they look in a painting sort of thematically is a bit silly. Like, I want my painting to have I want the subject to have dignity and sort of gravitas, like, not like, hey, so I can paint them, but I don't know. I don't know what makes them hard. Certainly what makes painting the hair hard is all this really fine texture So here, here's what I'm gonna paint this in. We'll do one with teeth one day, I'm sure. And then we'll compare notes. All right, we're at the 2.5 hour mark. I'm gonna zip into the other room and just see if it's still recording. Looks like it is. That's cool. So remind me, have you done some drawing and painting, Zelda? Have you done? I forget. I mean, I was ranting and raving all about teeth for a long time, so maybe you're not there. That's cool, but let's. I'm gonna start sort of wrapping up, and by that, I mean. Prepare for, and sometimes what we do when we're painting in oil paint is you prepare for the big dry. But in digital paint, the paint never dries, friends. But usually you would have to make sure your surface is ready for the paint to dry. You don't want to leave a bunch of mess. But in this case, oh, sorry. Do you actually get the fine hair or just sort of fake it? Some people get the fine hair. I have tried to get the fine hair, but mostly I just sort of fake it. That's a good description. Take a look at some of the paintings that I have on Instagram and stuff, and you'll see what I do to address hair sometimes. As a teen, very into art, people said I was good at it, but I think I was terrible. For me, the hardest part is getting proportions right. You mean how big things are compared to other things? I'm sure we've talked about this, but there are all kinds of tools in play to learn that. It's just training. And I am not shy to just use just some basic lines. Trace the basic outlines of where the tip of the nose is. Like, look, here's the pocket square. Boom. I trace that. I mean, it's not like you're not cheating. I mean, it's always good to know how to paint without a kind of, it's always good to know how to draw without tracing. But it's a different exercise anyway, I don't want to start stepping on what other people think is legit or not, but it's a different exercise. Learning to draw. But basically, when I was a kid, I went to an art school where they taught you how to see proportions and how to get proportions right quickly. And the way you learned how to do that at my school was by setting up a plaster sculpture next to, you know what? In fact, next time you're around and interested to learn more about that, we'll take a break and I'll show you how my school taught me and countless others how to get over that problem of proportions. It's a really clever method that I have not ever stopped using. I think it's the way to go. So if you're interested in learning more about that, hit me up next time. But I'm kind of on a roll with this, so I'm going to just keep it going. That's why I think I need to do like an art history segment. Because I think it would be interesting to have people talking about art and different ways of doing it. All right, look, part of what's making this look a little too, what's his name? What does this guy look like? He looks like Rodney Dangerfield. Somewhat. But he shouldn't. You like that? Yeah, wouldn't you agree? He shouldn't look like that. So we got to fix that. You don't see it? I'm not talking about in real life. I'm talking about in my drawing. What do you think? Ooh, angry Josh. Here's what we got to do. Let's find this value. I could have sworn I was working on this before and then never got around to it. But I think this is part of why he's looking too much like Rodney. Dark edge. Bring it up. I feel like parts of the lower half are slightly more rounded, but I'm sure you're adjusting that. Okay, you mean parts of the lower half of the face, like around here, things are too sharp and things need to be rounder down here? Is that what you mean? Actually, I think it was mainly the cheek you're fixing. Oh, cool. Yes. This area is the part that was screaming Rodney Dangerfield to me. So that's why I was like, let's fix that. So often we need to fix what's farthest behind, and having somebody say, this looks funny, is a good way to fix things that are falling behind, because sometimes we don't know. As the artist, you're sort of stuck in there and you're like, what is farthest behind? So that was helpful to have you confirm my suspicion. Oh boy, I'm gonna take that out. We didn't need to do that. I don't want to erase too much, but Josh. At least you can zoom out easily to take a step back. Absolutely. Totally. And if and when we discuss the technique that I trained in as a kid, you will see that that's what it's all. The whole technique is based on stepping back all the time, so that you can flick your eye back and forth across from the subject to the painting, right? And if you can flick your eye back and forth fast enough, things jump out at you. So again, we'll talk about that. Some darks here. There's a lot of texture in the chin here. Gotta relax around here. I want to screw it up. But yes, great. All good points here. See this? Nice, rich, dark. We're going to get over here and punch it in. Love these kind of darks. Okay, let's make sure that was the correct dark. Since this is digital, do you try sending any copies to whoever you paint? No, but I do tag them. What I do is I do a time lapse. Have you been able to check out any of the time lapse stuff that's over on like my Instagram page? You should be able to link to it from here, and you can see a time lapse. So what I'll do is I'm video recording every stroke in the other room, and then once it's completed, I edit it together, so it's just like 10 seconds of the painting coming to life. And it might take, in some cases, like Keith Morrison took me like 16 hours. That I spent way too long on it. But anyway, yeah, and then I posted on Instagram and I tag them and sort of, I don't know, but I am new to this, to be honest with you, like painting celebs and people who are not. Most of the people that I've painted are either hiring me to paint them or I am hiring them to sit still while I paint them. This is the first time I've really just bit the bullet and said, I want to paint anyone, like whoever I think is fun or funny or interesting to paint. That's what I'm doing now, even though I've never done it really before. So I have yet to see if anybody will think it's interesting or if the people who are the subjects will even notice, I don't know. It's an ocean of artists out there, and so the idea that this would be a surprise to people, I don't think, I don't know. I would love it if somehow the people who are in these saw them and said, wow, cool, like, I don't know. But I think it's hard to get noticed as an artist with so many like artists out there doing cool stuff on Instagram. It's kind of like an ocean of artists that I would just be sort of lost in, but we'll see. I hope to do that. That would be cool. You gotta place that where that lives. And then this. Yep. Once you place that, you zoom out, take a look. Okay. I've never had an Instagram account. Do you upload it to YouTube? Yes, it's on YouTube. I forget if I linked this account to YouTube. And I also forget the name of the account there. But take a look and you'll see, like, I compress the whole thing down into 10 seconds or what, And it's fun to watch it. Oh, there, let's get these highlights in the eyes, in the ears. Highlight over here. From their HD photos. Okay, it's interesting. News celebrities who have their faces on HD images being depicted in pre-photo technology. Yes, yeah, well, that's right. And the HD photos, the HD images that are available are often not lit this beautifully. I mean, they can be, but it's more like, it's moody. It's moody, and pre-photo, that's what it was. It was people didn't know that you should, or didn't think you should smile for a camera. It was like, this guy's smiling. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a cheeky grin, but it's like a closed mouth smile. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. It's like finding good reference images, and short of finding good reference images, I want to even like find people who want to be painted in this way, and help them take good reference photos that I could paint from. Because so much of what is inspiring to paint is in the photo. All right, so look, here's trouble. Here, let's take this highlight. All right, so you plop them in, zoom out, take a look. Yeah, I think to your point, probably what's a little different about me is that I'm particularly brainwashed into the classical thing. Like, and I have been for decades. And the only recently have I been like, well, I'm already painting from photos, so like, why not paint the photos that I like rather than just painting the photos that people, hire me to paint. So that's kind of how that came along. Whoa. Uh-oh. Oh, it's 4:30. Sorry, I didn't realize it was 4:30. It's time for me to... We're having a family altercation. Okay. I think this is gonna do it. So guys, I took history of photography a while ago, and painters were very unhappy with cameras. Oh, I'm sure they were. And some of them used photography and claimed that they, and art historians claim that they don't. Anyway, awesome. Thanks for chatting about all this stuff. We're going to wrap it up and head over to our weekend destination, but have a great weekend, and I'll be back Thank you, Zeldavania. It was so fun to talk about this stuff. And if you're interested ever, yeah, give you know. I've noticed some people have been interested in like talking art and not just watching painting. But so anyway, we'll get rid of these gray splotches soon. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Um, and yeah, we'll catch you next time. And YouTube, thanks for stopping by if you stop by. And we'll see you